Video opens with a surreal, slow-motion shot. A figure in a sharp, tailored business suit stands on a stage. The stage is a giant, floating clock face, its hands ticking backwards. The audience is comprised of silent, unblinking mannequins wearing masquerade masks. The camera slowly pushes in on the figure's face, which shows a dawning horror. Music, a low, resonant, and slightly dissonant ambient track begins. Think cello and subtle electronic textures. Voiceover. Have you ever felt it? That quiet, creeping dread that you are about to be found out. It lives in the space between your carefully chosen words. It hums beneath the surface of your confident smile. It's the fear that one day, the curtain will be pulled back, the lights will come up, and everyone will see you for what you truly believe you are: an imposter. A fraud. This feeling, this pervasive anxiety of exposure, is more than just self-doubt. It is a specific psychic condition, a malady of the modern soul. We shall call it the Emperor's wardrobe. It is the invisible prison we build from the threads of expectation and the fabric of performance. And tonight, we are going to unlock its doors. I promise you, by the end of our session, you will not only understand the most common and unsettling dream in the human psyche, the dream of being naked in public, but you will learn to see it not as a nightmare, but as a map. A map leading you back to your most authentic, powerful, and integrated self. Stay with us. The revelation is worth the exposure. Phase 1 ends. The visuals shift. The suited figure on the clock stage looks down and sees their clothes are beginning to fray, turning to dust at the edges. Panic flashes in their eyes. Phase 2. The problem, the dream. It's a cornerstone of our collective unconscious, a primal scene played out in the theater of the mind, night after night, across the globe. The specifics may change, but the feeling is always the same. You are in a place of significance. A boardroom where you are about to give the presentation of your life. The aisle of a church on your wedding day. A classroom, sitting for an exam you have forgotten to study for. It is a moment of high stakes, a crucible where your worth is being judged. And then, the chill. First, a strange breeze where there should be none. A sudden awareness of the air on your skin. You look down. And the floor drops out from beneath your world. You are naked. Utterly, completely, and shamelessly exposed. The faces in the crowd turn towards you. Their expressions shift from passive observation to a kind of piercing, analytical judgment. Every flaw, every scar, every vulnerability on your body is magnified under their collective gaze. Your mind screams, a silent, frantic cacophony. Cover yourself. Hide. Run, but your limbs are leaden, frozen in a tableau of pure shame. You wake up with your heart hammering against your ribs, the phantom chill of exposure still clinging to your skin. Now, think about your waking life. Have you not felt that same psychic chill, even when fully clothed? You're in a job interview. You wear the armor of a perfect resume and a well-rehearsed smile. You speak of your strengths and qualifications. Yet, inside, a voice whispers, you are a child playing dress up. They can see right through you. They know you don't belong here. You are on a first date, carefully curating an image of wit, charm, and stability. But with every carefully constructed anecdote, you feel the terror that they might glimpse the messy, insecure, unedited reality behind the performance. The real you. The naked you. This is the hidden cost of the Emperor's wardrobe. It is not merely the anxiety of a single dream. It is the constant, draining expenditure of psychic energy required to maintain the facade, day in and day out. We exhaust ourselves polishing our masks, mending the tears in our costumes, and rehearsing our lines. We become so convincing in our roles that we forget we are acting. And the true tragedy? This relentless performance, designed to win us acceptance and shield us from judgment, is the very thing that isolates us. We build a fortress of persona to protect our fragile core, only to discover we have become a prisoner within its walls. We crave authentic connection, yet we systematically prevent anyone from ever meeting our authentic self. We are surrounded by people, yet we have never felt so alone, so unseen. Your dream is not a warning of a future social humiliation. It is a diagnosis of a present spiritual crisis. Your psyche is screaming that the mask no longer fits. The performance is killing you. The visual shows the figure on the clock stage. Their suit has completely disintegrated. They are naked. But instead of looking ashamed, they close their eyes, and a single tear traces a path down their cheek. The mannequins in the audience begin to crack, their porcelain faces falling away to reveal nothing but hollow darkness inside. Phase 3. The solution. Music shifts to a more contemplative, wondrous tone. The ambient sounds become warmer, more harmonic. To decipher this nocturnal message, we must turn to one of the great cartographers of the soul, Carl Jung. Jung understood that the human psyche is a vast and complex territory, with sunlit peaks and shadowy valleys. And to navigate this landscape, we develop a tool. He called it the persona. The persona, from the Latin word for an actor's mask, is the face we present to the world. It is our collection of social roles: the competent professional, the loving parent, the witty friend, the dutiful child. It is a necessary and vital interface between our inner, private world and the outer, public one. The problem, as Jung saw it, is not that we have a persona. The problem is when we forget we are wearing one. When the mask fuses to the skin. When we come to believe that we are the competent professional, that we are the perfect parent, and that there is nothing else to us. This is where our dream of nakedness enters. It is a revolutionary act from the deepest parts of our being. It is the self, the totality of your psyche, staging a coup against the tyranny of the ego and its precious persona. The solution, then, is not to build a better, more convincing mask. The solution is to understand the dream's symbolic language. Let us break down its core principles. Principle 1. The persona is a necessary, but temporary, costume. Imagine your life as a grand theater. You are the lead actor, and each day you are called upon to play many parts. To go to work, you don the costume of your profession. To attend a family gathering, you wear the costume of a son, a daughter, a parent. These costumes allow you to perform your roles effectively. They are functional. They are essential. But no actor believes they are truly King Lear after the curtain falls. They go backstage, remove the crown and the robes, and become themselves again. The pathology arises when we refuse to go backstage. We wear the crown to bed. We speak in iambic pentameter at the breakfast table. We identify so completely with the role that we lose touch with the actor underneath. The dream of nakedness is the moment your costume is magically ripped from your body, mid-performance, forcing you to remember the actor who has been forgotten. Principle 2. The dream is a psychic corrective. Your psyche, in its profound wisdom, seeks balance. It strives for wholeness, or what Jung called individuation. When one part of you, the persona, becomes too dominant, too rigid, and excludes other essential parts of your nature, the system sounds an alarm. The dream of being naked is that alarm. It is a corrective experience. It tells you that the identity you have constructed is too small to contain the vastness of who you are. You have disowned crucial parts of yourself, your fears, your unacceptable desires, your vulnerabilities, your secret joys, and banished them to the shadows of your consciousness. The dream strips away the acceptable facade to force a confrontation with all that you have hidden, not to shame you, but to invite you to reclaim what you have lost. Principle 3. Nakedness is the symbol of unbearable truth. In our waking world, we associate nakedness with vulnerability, weakness, and shame. But in the symbolic language of the dream, it has a deeper, more potent meaning. Nakedness is authenticity. It is the state of being without pretense. It is the raw, unfiltered truth of your existence. The horror you feel in the dream is not simply about being unclothed. It is the ego's terror at being seen without its defenses. It is the friction between your desperate need to maintain an idealized, curated image of yourself, and the soul's relentless, undeniable demand for truth and wholeness. The dream is asking you a terrifying question. If you are not your job title, not your achievements, not your social status, then who are you? The shame you feel is the dawning, terrifying, and ultimately liberating realization that you may not know the answer. Think of it like this. Your persona is a beautifully crafted statue you place in the town square for all to admire. It is polished, perfect, and heroic. You spend your days ensuring it remains pristine, defending it from critics, and hiding the cracks that appear. But you are not the statue. You are the sculptor. The dream of nakedness is the moment a storm shatters the statue, forcing you to turn your attention away from the marble image and back to the living, breathing, imperfect, and infinitely more interesting sculptor who has been hiding in the workshop all this time. The goal is not to rebuild the statue. It is to finally meet the sculptor. The visual shows the naked figure on the clock. They are no longer panicked. They look down at their own hands, turning them over as if seeing them for the first time. The background dissolves from the stage into a vast, surreal library, where books have wings and fly through the air. Phase 4. The application, music becomes more focused and methodical. A gentle, guiding rhythm. Understanding the theory is the first step. It is drawing the map. But now, we must walk the territory. We must engage in the practical, alchemical work of turning this symbolic insight into a lived reality. This is the work of integration. Here are 4 steps to begin this journey. Think of them not as a cure, but as a practice. A way to slowly, consciously, remove the mask and befriend the face beneath. Step 1. Document the symbolic landscape. Your dream is a personal letter from your unconscious, written in a language of symbols. To read it, you must become a student of your own imagery. Keep a dream journal by your bed. When you have the nakedness dream, do not simply write, "I was naked in public." Become a detective of your own psyche. Ask these questions and write down the answers. Where are you? The setting is paramount. Are you at your childhood home? Your current workplace? A vast, empty desert? The location reveals the specific area of your life where your persona is under the most strain. Who is the audience? The people watching you are not random extras. They are symbolic representations. Are they strangers? Your family? Your boss? A faceless crowd? Each signifies a different source of perceived judgment in your life. Strangers might represent societal expectation, while a family member might point to deep-seated issues of approval and worth. What is your emotional reaction? Go beyond shame. Are you terrified? Embarrassed? Or is there a strange, secret part of you that feels liberated? The specific emotion is a clue to your relationship with your own authenticity. This act of documentation is an act of honoring the dream. You are telling your psyche, "I am listening." Step 2. Name your invisible clothes. This is an exercise in what Jungians call shadow work. The shadow is the repository for all the parts of ourselves we have deemed unacceptable, the qualities we actively hide from the world and even from ourselves. These are the invisible clothes your dream is ripping away. Take a piece of paper. At the top, write, "The parts of me I keep hidden." Now, be ruthlessly honest with yourself. Make a list. Is it a deep-seated insecurity? A burning ambition you've been told is too much? A well of anger you keep capped? A secret creative passion you fear is foolish? Perhaps it's envy, or greed, or a profound neediness. Do not judge what you write. Simply acknowledge it. Then, give these qualities a symbolic name. Instead of just insecurity, you might write, "My brittle armor of perfectionism." Instead of anger, "My cloak of silent resentment." This personification does 2 things. It externalizes the trait, allowing you to observe it without being consumed by it, and it acknowledges its role as a form of psychic clothing you have worn to protect yourself. Step 3. Practice controlled vulnerability. The solution to a fear of exposure is not to lock yourself away. It is to expose yourself, but on your own terms. This is not about suddenly confessing your deepest secrets on a conference call. That would be reckless. This is about taking small, intentional, and calculated risks in authenticity. Choose a safe container, a trusted friend, a loving partner, a therapist. In your next conversation, choose to share one small thing you would normally conceal. It could be admitting, "I'm actually feeling really anxious about this project," when you would normally say, "I've got it under control." It could be sharing a creative idea you were afraid was silly. It could be expressing a contrary opinion you would usually swallow for the sake of harmony. Start small. The goal is to gather data. When you reveal a tiny, authentic piece of yourself, you will notice something miraculous. The world does not end. The person opposite you does not recoil in horror. In fact, more often than not, they will lean in. They will respond with their own vulnerability. You are teaching your nervous system, one small step at a time, that authenticity is not the cause of rejection, but the very foundation of genuine connection. Step 4. Redefine your archetype of strength. Our culture has sold us a faulty definition of strength. It is the archetype of the impervious warrior, the unshakable stoic, the flawless leader. This is the strength of the stone fortress, rigid, imposing, and ultimately, brittle. It shatters under sustained pressure. You must consciously replace this archetype. The new archetype is one of flexible resilience. It is the strength of the mighty oak tree, which bends in the hurricane so it does not break. It is the strength of water, which yields and flows around obstacles, yet has the power to carve canyons through stone. True strength is not the absence of vulnerability. True strength is the capacity to hold your own vulnerability. It is the courage to stand in the storm of uncertainty and say, I am afraid, but I am here. It is the grace to admit, I was wrong, or, I don't know, or, I need help. Meditate on this new definition. Write it down. Ask yourself, what would vulnerable strength look like in my career? In my relationships? In my relationship with myself? By changing the ideal you are striving for, you change the entire game. You are no longer trying to build a fortress. You are learning to be a forest. The visuals show a series of symbolic actions. A hand writing in a journal, the ink turning into glowing constellations. A person carefully taking off a series of translucent masks, each one dissolving as it is removed. Two people sitting opposite each other, a faint, warm light connecting their hearts. A time-lapse of a small sapling growing into a giant, weathered oak tree under a sky of swirling galaxies. Phase 5. The proof, music swells, becoming more orchestral and profound. A sense of resolution and authority. This is not mere philosophical speculation. The wisdom of this approach is encoded in our oldest stories and validated by our most modern science. Consider the timeless fairy tale of The Emperor's New Clothes. The story is a perfect allegory for the tyranny of the persona. The emperor's identity, his very sense of self, is fused with his public image, his magnificent, powerful, and admired wardrobe. The swindlers do not sell him cloth. They sell him a concept, a persona of ultimate sophistication, visible only to the worthy. His fear of being seen as unworthy, as nakedly incompetent, is so great that he conspires in his own delusion. His entire court does the same. They live in a collective psychosis, a waking dream where the performance of belief is more important than the reality of nakedness. Who shatters this illusion? Not a wise man, not a powerful general. It is a child. A child whose persona is not yet fully formed, who has not yet learned to divorce what they see from what they say. The child speaks the simple, unadorned truth, but he has nothing on. The dream of being naked casts you as the emperor, trapped in the fragile performance of your own magnificent, but invisible, clothes. But it also gives you the opportunity to become the child, to see your own truth and, eventually, to speak it. The liberation in the story comes not from the emperor finding a new, even grander robe, but from the shattering of the collective lie. The truth, however shameful at first, sets everyone free. This ancient narrative wisdom is now being empirically proven. Look to the work of researcher Brené Brown. Her decades of data have led to an unequivocal conclusion. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is, in her words, our most accurate measure of courage. She has demonstrated that the willingness to be seen, to be exposed, to be imperfect, is the very birthplace of joy, creativity, belonging, and love. Our attempts to numb our vulnerability, to perfect our persona, also numb our capacity for the very experiences that give our lives meaning. We cannot selectively numb emotion. When we build a wall to keep out the shame and the fear, we also lock out the love and the joy. The logic is irrefutable. The energy you pour into maintaining your emperor's wardrobe, the anxiety, the vigilance, the performance, is a finite resource. It is energy you are stealing from your creativity, your relationships, your health, and your peace. The dream is a psychic auditor, showing you just how bankrupt this strategy has become. By heeding its call, by beginning the work of integration, you are not destroying yourself. You are engaging in the most profound act of psychic recovery. You are reclaiming the vast energy you've wasted on performance and reinvesting it into a life of authentic presence. The visual shows the naked figure. They are now standing calmly in the surreal library. They reach out and touch one of the flying books. As they do, it transforms into a luminous, shimmering robe, not of cloth, but of pure light, which drapes itself around their shoulders. It is not concealing, but revealing. They look directly at the camera, their eyes clear and calm. Phase 6. The call to action. Music becomes calm, intimate, and inviting. The final chord hangs in the air. The dream of nakedness is an invitation. An invitation to stop performing and start participating. To stop hiding and start revealing. To stop building walls and start building bridges. It begins with a simple act of shared truth. So, let us begin here, in this community of fellow dreamers. In the comments below, I invite you to share a piece of your own symbolic landscape. Tell us, in your dream of being naked, where are you, and who is the audience? You need not share the interpretation, only the image. Let us see the patterns in our collective unconscious together. Let's decode these nocturnal theaters as a community. If you are ready to continue this journey, to peel back the layers of your own psyche and find the luminous truth that lies beneath the performance, then subscribe to Ego and Echo. We are the cartographers of the inner world, and we believe the greatest adventure lies within. Your dream of nakedness has revealed a fundamental tension between your public self and your private truth. To understand this dynamic more deeply, you must come to know the hidden counterpart to your persona, the shadow. Our next session, The Shadow, How to Befriend Your Inner Monster, is the essential next step on this path. It will guide you into the forgotten landscapes of your own soul and show you how to find the gold hidden in the darkness. Click here to continue the descent.